Hello and welcome back to Minecraft Horizons mod pack. Woo! Now, last time I was working on my centrifuge as well as my uranium processor, and as you can see, it already processed the entire stack of uranium and sent it all through. Now, a few things I did in between while I was waiting for my uranium to process down into all that dust and stuff. I looked it up and I could actually set a drum, apparently. Uranium. I could actually put the uranium hexafluoride into a drum, which means I could have a nice big buffer for it to be processed into the gases and put into a drum to be put into my uranium centrifuge, isotope centrifuge actually. So yeah, I put one of those right there. And I also set up one of these things, and let me explain why. Now, originally, if you remember from last episode, I had all the power coming from this magnetostatic engine into two of these 16 by 1 gearboxes set to speed, which gave me, let me get that, a total of 524,000 rads of speed, which is very nice. Got this going, which was very nice, but it was still going extremely slowly. So I worked out the math and I actually built one of these things, which is a, what's it called? I have a spare one right here. It's a dynameter. Basically, you can hook it up to the machines like this, into the shaft and the output shaft, and it will give you a reading of the speed, the torque, and the wattage that's being produced by whatever engine is running. So originally I just had the power coming through these two 16 gearboxes, which ultimately gave me 524,000, but it left me with 8 units of torque left over. I had 8 units of torque left over, which was just enough for me to send it through an 8 by 1 gearbox set to speed and reduce that to 1 torque and increase the speed to 4 million rads. That's right, I was able to squeeze out 4 million rads of speed out of this by sending it through one more little gearbox, one more little 8 by 1 gearbox, and I was able to get this working with only 1 unit of torque, and now it is just flying through the gas. It is processing it a lot faster with that extra speed. So yeah, it still took a fairly long time to process the full stack of pitch blend ingots I had in here, mainly because this only processes 50 MB of uranium hexafluoride per round of processing. Originally I thought if you looking at the tank right there, you see it just went down by 50, and each bar of uranium produces over 1,000 MB, which is 1 bucket's worth of uranium hexafluoride. So it was processing a lot more than I actually thought it was. And that's why it was processing so slowly, because it actually processes 1/20th of a bar, 1/20th of an ingot of pitch blend per process. So yeah, in the end, I actually had to switch out from using a chest in order to actually get all the storage I needed, because from just that one stack I got 16 stacks of depleted uranium dust, as well as nearly 2 stacks of enriched uranium dust, which is very nice. I mean, I did not think I would get that much out of 1 stack of pitch blend, and it still has a little bit of hexafluoride left in there to process, so I may actually end up getting even more enriched uranium. But at the very least, I have enough to start setting up my reactor, which is what I'm going to be doing today. So now that I've got that set up and got all that explained, let me put some more fluorite crystals in there, some more pitch blende. Now I did end up putting together all the various pieces I needed for my reactor. I got enough iron and enough steel put together in order to get all the pieces, which I have right here. Let me just grab all these. And let's see, is that everything I'm going to need? No, I'm also going to need fluid pipes. I'm going to need more fluid pipes as well as another infinite water source. Where's my infinite water? Here we go, infinite water bucket. So I'm going to need some fluid ducts. So let me make some more of those. Another stack of those. There we go. That should be more than enough. And I'm going to need an infinite water source, which is one of these right there with my bucket, because this a power plant is going to need a constant water source in order to power it. Now I'm also going to need a water void pipe, and I will get to that. Void here. Here we go. The fluid void from Extra Cells works exactly like it sounds. It actually voids fluids. Any liquids that go into it get turned, it just disappear. They just destroyed completely. So yeah, this is going to come in handy for what I'm going to be doing later. And is that everything I needed? Okay, now I should have shown you this earlier, or last time actually, but you can actually make a book similar to the one for normal rotary craft, except this one's for reactor craft. It's just steel, fluorite, and some paper, and it gives you all the information about reactor craft, all the various pieces, all the various parts, how the stuff works, the actual science behind it, and all that kind of stuff, as well as the various pieces and how to set them up, how they work together, all the stuff I've been doing so far, and stuff like that. So if you ever need help with putting one of these together, this is how you can actually get the information fairly quickly. And I'm going to need one of these actually, but I'll get to that later. But for now, let's get over here, and I will actually start setting up the reactor itself. Now, the fusion reactor works by having, let's see, do I have any spare stuff I can use? There we go. Let's see, what height do I want to have it? Now, I dug out this area to put this in. How high do I want this? So it's going to be about right there. So maybe one lower. So in order to get this started, I'm going to need a few things. First, we're going to need a central control unit. This is going to be the center. I'm going to have this at the center. This is basically a computer that will control these, which are the control rods. Now, the control rods actually stop the reactor, which is very important because I'm going to be making a fairly large reactor. So having the control rods to be able to turn it on and turn it off and stop the actual reaction itself is going to come in very handy, because I'm going to be using 16 of these, which are the fuel cores. This is where you put the fuel, and this is where the actual nuclear reaction happens, and I will be showing you that in a moment. So this is a configuration I worked out as a fairly good design for what I have planned. Now the basic idea is you put fuel inside of the fuel cores here, and it creates a nuclear reaction, sending out neutrons into the various directions on a horizontal axis. Now the way it works is, let's see. Yeah, neutron. Yeah, it's the basic idea is you put the fuel pellets into here, the uranium fuel pellets that you get from the enriched uranium, and every few seconds it will put out a neutron in one of the four sides will come out. Now, if the neutron comes out and it hits another fuel core, it will cause a chain reaction, creating heat and sending out even more neutrons. Now, the more neutrons that are produced, the more they hit the other fuel cores, and the more heat is produced, and the more power is produced. And the way we capture that power is with steam boilers. Now, ooh, crap. Come on. Come on, come on. So what I'm going to be doing is putting 2 layers of steam boilers, because the steam boilers are an actual multi-block structure. As you can see, the textures blend together, just standard right there, and blended together as one tank. Now they only blend vertically, so up and down. They won't connect to the side pieces, but you can have 2 of them like this, which is what I plan on doing, just like this. And the heat from the reactor will feed into these boilers, generating heat, absorbing the heat, and creating steam. Now, I have the basics set up for my design. So what I also need to do is feed water into the bottom of these tanks, which is why I have the fluid ducts right here. Need to get rid of that. There we go. Bop, 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 bop. Now you're going to need a constant supply of water to keep these tanks filled. So I'm going to have a thing going right here to the infinite water source, which should keep all these tanks filled, hopefully keep all these tanks filled with a constant supply of water. Now, this central core does need power itself. It needs 1 watt of power, 1 kilowatt of power per block of control rod. For each control rod, it needs 1 kilowatt of power, I think. So to that end, to power this, I'm going to need a steam engine to run a shaft up to it right here and get this powered up. So I'm going to go make a steam engine, as well as get everything I need to get it powered up and get all the other stuff I might be needing for it. So be right back in a second, because I completely forgot to build this ahead of time. Okay, here we go. I got my steam engine, got it filling with water, should be going. There we go. Just need to set up a beveled gear with a set to black, blue, and a couple shafts to get this powered. There and there. I just need to screwdriver these around, and that should be it. Power out there. There. Come on. There. Now that should, once that heats up, give the central control unit, the ability to turn these control rods on and off. So just need to wait and make sure that's working. But yeah, while I'm waiting, let me put some of this enriched uranium, just put it in a 2x2 square to create uranium fuel pellets. And 1 stack gave me 32 uranium fuel pellets. Haha. So I can just take these, stick them in here. Each of the central slots is where they go. You can have up to 4 pellets in here at a time. So let me just put 2 in each of them. Just like this. And you should start seeing, every once in a while, a little blue dot. Oh, did you see that coming out the side right there? Those are the neutrons being produced by the nuclear fuel, the uranium. And every once in a while, they will send a little dot like that out in each of the directions, in random directions. Each of these fuel cores will randomly produce neutrons, and it will come out of one of the four sides. Now, sometimes it will go out that way and just be lost into the environment, but sometimes it will also go out in one of the other three directions and hit one of these other fuel cores. Now, when it does hit another fuel core, it causes that fuel core to release even more neutrons in one of the other directions, which can cause it to hit another one of these fuel cores, and another fuel core, and another fuel core, and so on and so forth, causing a chain reaction, generating more heat, because every time it releases one, it generates a tiny amount of heat. So each chain reaction to the other cores will generate even more heat, which will be absorbed by the steam tanks here, steam boilers, and generate tons of heat, which can then be harnessed and sent to the turbines to generate power. So let me fill up the rest of these, and I will show you exactly what it is this is going to be doing.